Hi, today we're going to make a necklace. So this is leather and beads, little tassel, little decoration, and quite a long chain. So I'm going to show you how we're going to do that. The colors that I picked for today are here, all the teals. You're going to need a little scrap piece of leather, which will come in the kit if you order a kit. You'll need needle nose pliers, round nose pliers, a little pair of scissors, thread. I chose this teal because it's the just from the color pattern that I'm doing today. You need an eye pin. So here's one here. It has a little eye on the end and it's straight. We're going to be cutting this, which is why you need the little pliers here. A nice variety of beads, and they're all seed beads, so different size beads to your liking. And then I have a couple of little larger accent beads. Bead caps here that go on each end, and some jump rings and a split ring. I put a fish hook here in case we decide to make earrings. I haven't decided yet. So I'm going to get started. I take the piece of scrap leather and I'm going to cut little strips. So I've started it here, but just to save time, I've got some here. So I've got 4 of them. They're all pretty much the same length. And I'm going to put the ends together and I'm going to feed it through my biggest jump ring. And those 4 little strands should fit through there no problem. I'm just going to pull them through and then stop about halfway. Like that. So it's about halfway through. And there you have your little tassel already. Now I want to tighten this up the same way that I did here on this one. So I'm going to use that cord that I've cut, a little bit of thread, thread. It's a little thicker than a thread. I'm going to leave a piece hanging out here at the top. I'm going to come down, I'm going to loop it right to about where my second finger is, and I'm going to come back up. Now I'm going to keep all of that together like this. Do you see that little piece of thread in there? And I'm going to start wrapping. I don't want to wrap it too much, but I want to wrap it tight and make sure that little tail sticks out. It stays out of the loop here, and go round and round until you like how it looks, I suppose. That's probably enough. I'm going to take the end and I'm going to feed it through that loop that I left. Don't let go up here. You want to keep it really tight. I'm going to go through this loop just like I'm sewing. There we go. Pull it through. Oops, it's got my finger. Here we go. And now I want to tighten that loop, and that's what this tail here is for. So I'm going to use my pliers because it's slippery. I'm going to grab it and I'm going to pull, and you'll see it'll grab that little excess and pull it up underneath and pull until you can't pull it anymore. I know it's good and tight. There we go. I'm going to take my little scissors here and I'm going to cut those tails off. That shouldn't, if you did it tight, really tight, that should never come undone. Now, if you like, you want to put a little clear nail polish on there to make sure it doesn't move, that's fine. And there we have our tassel on a little split ring. It was that easy. Keep practicing though. You get better at it as you do it. Now we're going to add the second piece, the little decor, onto it. So I'm going to take the eye pin that I have here. I'm going to attach this loop to there once I'm done. These 2 pieces will connect, and it opens down here at the bottom. So I'm going to start with a bead cap at the bottom of my bead, if it fits, and it of course doesn't. Oh, it does. It's a little tight. I'm going to put in my bead, one of the teal. This is like an 8mm bead. I'm going to put another cap on top. A little tricky. There we go. And I'm going to just decorate the top. So I'm just going to go in order of the sizes of my seed beads. If you can see them, I'll take a bigger one. I'm going to add a silver. You can do whatever you want. There's no rhyme or reason. You make your own pattern. If you want to do pinks, if you do order a kit, we can do any shades. If you want, you know, cream and blue, or greens and browns, or, you know, mauves and pinks. I can't seem to find that little hole. There it is. So I think that's good enough for a little decorated pin. Now I got to cut this wire because it's way too long. I only need a little loop like this. So I'm going to take my wire cutters. These needle nose pliers have a cutter inside, and I'm going to leave about that much space. When you cut your wire, always turn it away from you and face it down, because it will go flying. You don't want that in your eye. I wear glasses when I'm beading because I need them, but even if I didn't, I would always wear a little pair of safety glasses. These are round nose pliers, so you're going to take that end of this, you're going to pull it towards you, keep your fingernail real tight at the bottom so that bead doesn't move, pull it towards you and turn it at the same time until you have a nice little loop. I'm going to leave it open for now until I know what I'm going to connect it to. But I'm going to open that other end, and now I'm going to attach my tassel. Here we go. You want to close these up nice and tight too when you're working on them. Oops, see, it already jumped out. So you want to get it in there, take your needle nose and close up that loop nice and tight. There we go. So at this other end, I left it wide open because I'm not sure what I want to do with it. I can add a fish hook. That could be an earring. Super cute little earring. I'm going to do the necklace. I think I'll make the necklace first, and then I'll come back and make earrings to match. But I just wanted to show you how easy. Then I don't have to do another tutorial on how to make an earring. You'll already know. In fact, before I put that in, I'm going to put this split ring. Split ring goes around twice. If you order a kit, you'll get split rings and jump rings. This is circled twice. A jump ring only goes around once, one circle. And I'm going to close that up nice and tight as well. There we go. So now I'm going to start on the necklace. Oh, I did forget to tell you, you need wire, didn't I? So you need a piece of, I use Bead-A-Lon. It's just bead stringing wire. I buy 100 feet of it. It's not very expensive. And I use the 0.018 inch. So I'm going to cut that down so you can put it around your neck and see the desired length. I want quite a long necklace. So I'd rather have a piece of wire that's too long than too short. And take your pliers and give it a trim. There we go. So now, how am I going to get this on here? Well, you're going to use something called a crimp. If you see that on my finger. Crimp beads, you can buy them at Michael's. You can buy them, sometimes I find them at the dollar store. So you're going to put your little crimp bead on because we're going to pinch it around that wire nice and tight. I'm going to put that on. I'm going to go through the circle, that split ring on there, and I'm going to come back through that crimp. And leave a little excess. I'm going to leave a little bit out. I'm going to pull on the long wire until it's nice and tight. And I'm going to take my needle nose pliers and I'm going to crimp that nice and tight. Perfect. So that isn't going to move anywhere. And now I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to start stringing this assortment of beads. With a pattern, without a pattern, I haven't decided. Sometimes I don't know until I start beading. Sometimes I start beading and then I change my mind about how I want it to be. But just for the sake of time, I'm going to take one here that I've already done. And similar colors. And I am just going to attach, well, I've already attached it here. I just want to show you. I could take this off. I have another one here. I could attach that just to the bottom like this. And there you have your beaded tassel necklace. Or I can just go ahead and start beading and chatting while I bead. So here, I'll start with, I added silver. I really like the silver with the turquoise. You can use reds with turquoise. Like I said, pattern or no pattern, random is kind of fun. Then you don't have to worry. You just have to be patient. Some of these beads are super tiny. right? And the holes are a little tricky to get through. Now, those first few beads that go on, I want to make sure that I use beads that are big enough so that you can go back through that little extra wire that's hanging there. If not, I can take these beads off and try again, because I want to cover that wire with those beads. And it looks like this little tiny square one does not want to go. So I'll take it off. I'll go a little bit bigger. I won't use the little beads until later. It looks like it won't go through a double wire. The other ones seem fine, so I'll just continue with the bigger beads. Oops. I bead on this black cloth here. It's actually a piece of foam, and I bead on this because the beads don't roll around and get away on you. Let's see if I have enough there now. So all of those, remember that little piece of tail that was sticking out? I'm going to cover them with the first 8 or 10 beads and go right through both wires with the beads. Let me see. You need a little tiny bit of patience when you're beading. Honestly, and the worst thing you could possibly do is not work over top of a table, because if it slips out of my hands, I will lose all the beads off the wire. And then I'll just cry for a little while and pick them all up and start over. There we go. So you've hidden that wire, so it's not going to be poking you. And just continue on. Now these beads, like if you want a kit, you can email me at cbiancanello@brock.ca and let me know. If you're a self-identified Brock University student, Aboriginal student, the kits are free for you. If you're a community member, outside agency, and you're interested in purchasing kits, the kits are $5 a piece, and you will receive everything that you need. You'll get your wire and your beads and your rings, your accent beads, your pins. You will have to provide your own scissors and pliers and, well, depending on the color scheme, I will try and get some threads that match. So if you're interested in a kit and you want pinks, let me know. Really, I have every imaginable color of the rainbow. So random. I'm not counting. I'm not doing anything, but you can if you like. Entirely up to you. And now I can start putting those tiny beads on. Now, I wasn't thinking. I have these foam mats. I buy them. I think they're $1 at a bead store here in St. Catharines. But you can buy them. I've seen them like at Walmart or dollar store. Any piece of fabric. You could use a tea towel right out of your own kitchen. But I should have used a light colored one because it's hard to see those dark beads here and to find the hole in them. So yeah, a tea towel will even do, just as long as the beads aren't rolling around on your table. So I think you get the idea of what it is I'm doing here. When you finish your whole wire and you come all the way to the back again, down to your split ring, what you would do is put another crimp on, go through the hoop, back through the crimp, and tighten it up. The crimps on here are pinched up, and I tuck that wire back up into those first 8 or 10 beads. You don't see it. I will take a picture of the finished product when I'm done, and I'll post that as well. Thanks for watching.